Right now, millions of brains are silently breaking down, and 99% of seniors don't even know it's happening. You don't always feel it. Maybe it starts with a lost word, a misplaced key, a name you can't recall. But behind the scenes, neurons are dying, and your brain's wiring is shrinking. The numbers are terrifying. 1 in 3 adults over 65 already shows signs of decline. Every 65 seconds, someone develops Alzheimer's. By the time most people notice, up to 60% of their hippocampus, the memory center of the brain, may already be damaged. Here's the shocking part: your diet can flip the switch. Certain foods can literally regrow brain cells. Clinical studies show the number one food on this list can increase nerve growth by more than 60% in just weeks. That's not slowing decline. That's rebuilding your brain. Most people never hear this truth. They keep eating the wrong foods, sleepwalking into decline. But you don't have to. The information in this video is backed by real science. We've spent hours digging through peer-reviewed research, and every single reference is linked in the description below. Before we dive in, let me know in the comments, what's the one food you count on for brain power? Because today, we're exposing the four most powerful foods proven to regrow nerves, with number one being a total game changer. Number 4. Turmeric. The first food on our list is something you've probably seen sitting quietly in your spice cabinet, a golden yellow powder used in curries and stews. But turmeric is much more than a kitchen spice. It's a brain repair tool. The power of turmeric comes from a compound called curcumin. Curcumin has been studied for decades, and researchers have discovered it has two superpowers when it comes to your brain. It activates brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and it slams the brakes on inflammation. BDNF, remember, is like fertilizer for your neurons. When curcumin raises BDNF levels, your brain literally grows new connections. This is not just about feeling sharper, it's about repairing real damage. Inflammation, on the other hand, is one of the biggest enemies of brain health. Chronic brain inflammation is linked with memory loss, mood disorders, and diseases like Alzheimer's. Curcumin reduces that inflammation at the cellular level, giving your brain the environment it needs to regrow and heal. But there's a catch. Curcumin is notoriously hard for the body to absorb. If you simply eat turmeric powder on its own, most of it passes right through your system unused. That's where black pepper comes in. Black pepper contains a compound called piperin, which increases the bioavailability of curcumin by a jaw-dropping 2,000%. That means if you sprinkle black pepper on your turmeric dish, you suddenly unlock the healing potential of curcumin. Animal studies have shown remarkable results. Rats given curcumin after brain injury had significantly more regrowth of nerve cells compared to untreated animals. Early human trials suggest curcumin can improve memory and attention in older adults after just 4 weeks of use. One study published in the American Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry found that people who took a daily curcumin supplement scored 28% higher on memory tests and showed improved mood compared to those taking a placebo. The easiest way to use turmeric is in food. Add a teaspoon to soups, stews, or even warm milk with honey. Always pair it with black pepper to unlock its full potential. Some people also use turmeric tea or golden lats, which have become popular for good reason. What's important is consistent intake. Over time, those small daily doses build up in your system, bathing your brain in curcumin and supporting nerve regrowth. Now that we've seen how a spice can act as brain fertilizer, let's shift to something more indulgent and delicious, yet surprisingly powerful. Number 3. Dark chocolate. Chocolate has always been associated with pleasure, but it turns out that the right kind of chocolate is also medicine for your brain. I'm not talking about candy bars loaded with sugar and milk powder. I'm talking about dark chocolate, rich in cacao. The secret weapon inside cacao is a group of compounds called flavonols. Flavonols are potent antioxidants, but they do more than just fight free radicals. They improve blood flow to the brain, which means more oxygen and nutrients reach your neurons. Even more importantly, flavonols stimulate brain-derived neurotrophic factor, the same protein curcumin activates, which drives the growth and repair of nerve connections. When BDNF levels rise, the brain becomes more plastic, more adaptable, and more capable of healing. The science here is compelling. A study published in Nature Neuroscience found that older adults who drank a high flavanol cocoa drink daily for 3 months showed significant improvements in memory performance. In fact, they performed as well on memory tasks as people decades younger. Brain imaging revealed increased activity in the dentate gyrus, a region of the hippocampus that plays a key role in memory formation. Another study from Italy showed that people who consumed cocoa flavanols daily had faster processing speed and better working memory after just 8 weeks. The best part is that dark chocolate is easy to enjoy. Just 1 or 2 small squares of high-quality dark chocolate, ideally 70% cacao or higher, can deliver meaningful amounts of flavanols. To get the most benefit, keep the sugar content low, since sugar can actually damage brain cells and reduce plasticity. A simple rule is the darker the better. And remember, moderation is key. You don't need a whole bar, just a small piece daily can help your brain grow new connections. So far, we've talked about a spice and a treat, but now let's move to a nutrient that is literally built into your brain cells themselves. Number 2, omega-3 fatty acids. If you've ever heard the phrase fish is brain food, this is why. Omega-3 fatty acids, especially DHA, are essential building blocks of your brain. DHA is literally woven into the membranes of your neurons. Without enough of it, your brain cells can't communicate properly, and damaged nerves struggle to repair themselves. With enough DHA, on the other hand, your brain gains the raw materials it needs to regrow and stay flexible. Studies have shown that omega-3s don't just protect the brain, they actively help it repair. In animal experiments, DHA supplementation promoted the regrowth of damaged axons, the long fibers that carry electrical signals from one neuron to another. In humans, higher levels of DHA are associated with larger brain volumes and better cognitive function. A study in the Journal of Neuroscience reported that people with higher omega-3 intake had 20% less brain shrinkage as they aged compared to those with low intake. Another clinical trial showed that people with mild cognitive impairment who took DHA supplements improved their learning and memory within 6 months. While salmon is often praised as the go-to source of DHA, there's a hidden gem that doesn't get nearly enough credit: sardines. Sardines are small, inexpensive, and surprisingly rich in omega-3s. They also carry much lower levels of mercury compared to larger fish, making them safer for regular consumption. In fact, ounce for ounce, sardines can deliver more DHA than salmon at a fraction of the price. For people who don't like fish, algae oil supplements are an excellent plant-based option, since algae is where the fish get their omega-3s in the first place. To get the most benefit, aim for 2 to 3 servings of fatty fish per week, or consider a high-quality omega-3 supplement. Cooking methods matter too. Grilling, baking, or steaming helps preserve the delicate fatty acids, while deep frying can damage them. When you feed your body omega-3s, you're literally giving your brain the material it needs to repair and regrow nerves. And now we've reached the top of the list. The single most powerful food for regrowing nerves isn't a spice, a treat, or a nutrient. It's a mushroom with almost magical properties. Number 1. Lion's mane mushroom. At number 1, we have lion's mane mushroom, a shaggy white mushroom that looks almost like a waterfall of icicles. But inside this humble fungus lies one of the most powerful brain-healing compounds ever discovered. Lion's mane contains unique molecules called hericenones and iridescenes. These compounds stimulate the production of nerve growth factor, or NGF. NGF is different from BDNF. While BDNF mainly helps with connections between neurons, NGF is critical for the survival, maintenance, and regeneration of nerve cells themselves. In simple terms, NGF tells your brain to grow new nerves and keep them healthy. What makes lion's mane extraordinary is that very few natural substances directly boost NGF. This mushroom is one of the rare exceptions. and the results are impressive. A Japanese study followed older adults with mild cognitive impairment who took lion's mane supplements daily for 16 weeks. Their memory scores improved significantly compared to the placebo group. Even more remarkable, when the participants stopped taking the mushroom, their memory scores declined again, showing that lion's mane was actively driving the improvements. Animal studies confirm that lion's mane promotes the regrowth of damaged nerves in the brain and even the spinal cord. The mushroom can be eaten fresh, cooked like any other edible mushroom, or taken as a supplement. Many people prefer capsules or powders, which contain concentrated extracts of hericinones and erinacines. But if you can find fresh lion's mane, sauteing it in a little olive oil is a delicious way to enjoy it. The key is consistency, just like with the other foods. Regular intake keeps NGF levels high, fueling nerve regrowth day after day. Lion's mane is not just another superfood trend. It represents a real breakthrough in natural brain repair. By stimulating NGF, it directly tells your nervous system to regenerate. That's why it takes the #1 spot on our list. Just as some foods can regrow nerves and sharpen your brain, others can quietly sabotage your efforts. If you truly want the benefits of turmeric, dark chocolate, omega-3s, and lion's mane, you also need to cut back on the foods that drag your brain in the opposite direction. Think of the right foods as your brain's personal repair crew, patching damage, regrowing nerves, and sharpening memory. But here's the catch. While the builders are working, the wrong foods sneak in like wrecking balls. To really unlock the power of turmeric, dark chocolate, omega-3s, and lion's mane, you've got to avoid the foods tearing your brain apart. Here are 4 of the biggest culprits, from bad to worst. Number 4. Refined sugar. Sugar may look innocent, but it's one of the most quietly destructive substances you can feed your brain. Every time you eat refined sugar, your blood glucose surges, forcing your body to release large amounts of insulin. Over time, this roller coaster damages the delicate blood vessels that deliver oxygen and nutrients to your neurons. Without a steady blood supply, your brain can't repair itself efficiently. The real danger, though, is what sugar does to brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. This protein acts like fertilizer for your neurons, helping them grow and repair. High sugar diets lower BDNF levels dramatically. With less BDNF, your brain loses its ability to form new connections. Studies have shown that people with high sugar intake perform worse on memory tests and often have a smaller hippocampus, the brain's memory hub. Animal research backs this up, showing that sugar-heavy diets slow learning and trigger inflammation. The problem is that sugar hides in almost everything: breads, sauces, drinks, even foods marketed as healthy. Over time, constant sugar intake leads to inflammation, oxidative stress, and an increased risk of dementia. So if sugar chips away at your brain slowly, the next food on our list takes a more direct, toxic path. Number 3. Processed meats. Processed meats like bacon, sausages, hot dogs, and deli slices may taste savory, but inside your brain, they set off a damaging chain reaction. These meats are loaded with preservatives like nitrates, which can turn into nitrosamines inside the body. Nitrosamines generate oxidative stress, essentially bathing your neurons in toxic molecules that accelerate aging and weaken communication between nerve cells. Studies have linked high consumption of processed meats with faster cognitive decline and a higher risk of dementia. One large population study found that people who ate processed meat daily scored lower on memory and attention tests compared to those who rarely touched it. It isn't just the nitrates. Processed meats are often high in saturated fats and salt, both of which damage blood vessels and reduce blood flow to the brain. Without steady circulation, neurons can't get the fuel they need to regrow and repair. What makes processed meats particularly concerning is how often they're eaten casually at breakfast or in sandwiches, with little thought to the long-term cost. Over time, that convenience adds up to real damage. But as bad as processed meats are, there's another type of fat that scientists have labeled far worse for your neurons. Number 2. Trans fats. Trans fats are the artificial fats that make packaged snacks and fried foods so addictive. They're created through hydrogenation, a process that turns liquid oils into solid fats for longer shelf life. But when these fats enter your body, they become poison for your neurons. Unlike natural fats, trans fats integrate into cell membranes incorrectly, making them rigid. For neurons, that rigidity is devastating because flexible membranes are essential for fast signaling and repair. When your brain cells can't adapt, learning slows, memory weakens, and nerve repair stalls. Research has drawn a direct line between trans fats and dementia. A study in Japan found that people with the highest blood levels of trans fats were 50% more likely to develop Alzheimer's. Other studies have shown that even moderate intake lowers memory performance and increases inflammation across the brain. The danger is that trans fats still sneak into many packaged and fast foods, even in countries where bans exist. Labels that read partially hydrogenated oils are a red flag. Eliminating them completely is one of the most important steps for brain health. And yet, as damaging as trans fats are, there's one category of food that takes the crown as the most dangerous for your brain. Number 1. Ultra-processed foods. At the very top of the danger list are ultra-processed foods. These include chips, instant noodles, packaged snacks, frozen dinners, and many fast food meals designed to be cheap, addictive, and long-lasting. The problem is not just one ingredient, it's the toxic combination. Refined sugar, damaged fats, artificial additives, and excess salt come together in a perfect storm for your brain. Each component is harmful alone, but combined, they create the worst possible environment for neurons. Refined carbs spike blood sugar and drive insulin resistance, a condition sometimes called type 3 diabetes of the brain. Damaged fats slip into cell membranes, making them stiff and inflamed. Artificial additives fuel oxidative stress, while excess salt raises blood pressure and strains the blood vessels that carry oxygen and fuel to your brain. Large-scale studies confirm the danger. Research in neurology found that people who ate the most ultra-processed foods had a 28% higher risk of dementia. Another study linked heavy intake to shrinkage of brain regions tied to memory and emotional control. What makes them especially dangerous is how addictive they are. Engineered to hijack your reward system, they push you to overeat while starving your brain of real nutrition. Here's the truth. Your brain is never standing still. It's either getting stronger or quietly breaking down every single day, depending on what you choose to eat. The right foods, like turmeric, dark chocolate, omega-3s, and lion's mane, can switch on repair systems, regrow damaged nerves, and sharpen memory. But the wrong foods, refined sugar, processed meats, trans fats, and ultra-processed junk, do the exact opposite. They choke your neurons, lower BDNF, fuel inflammation, and quietly push you toward faster decline. The difference between a sharper brain and a fading one isn't in miracle pills or expensive treatments. It's in the choices you make at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can literally build new brain cells or destroy them, depending on your next meal. Every plate is a decision about your future self. Will you feed growth or accelerate decline? If you want to protect memory, reduce dementia risk, and stay mentally sharp, start now. Add the foods that regrow nerves. Cut out the ones that poison your brain. The formula is simple, but the impact is life-changing. Now, I want to hear from you. Which food on this list shocked you most? Comment below, hit like, subscribe, and share this video, because knowledge matters, but action matters more. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. Thanks for watching.